Hello everybody. Hello, good evening. Good evening. How we doing? Thank you. Thank you guys for yesterday. Thanks for joining. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for helping to broadcast the messages, but the message. Thanks for sharing on your pages. Thanks for coming and joining. Thanks for being here. You guys are such amazing crew. So hello to everybody. I hope we all had a very nice day. I hope we've had time to sit through the videos yesterday and watch it over and over and over. And yes, thank you guys. Thank you so much for sharing yesterday. Yes, please, thank you very much, Mr. Dejimo. You're welcome to the platform. Thanks to everybody who's joined so far. You guys are just amazing. I was just saying thank you for yesterday. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for inviting people. Thanks for broadcasting the message of yesterday. You know, I told yesterday when I came, I was like, it's gonna be very hot today. Like, I'm gonna be displaying some anger, and you guys took it very well. And that's the way it should be when someone we are corrected, and that's something that I'm gonna say that we Africans haven't really developed. Oftentimes when we're criticized, we just sort of start shouting. We sort of miss the point. We sort of miss the message. And hello, Mr. Israel. Hello, thank you for being here. Hello, Mr. Dewale. Thank you so much. Everyone else who's joined, you guys are amazing. So basically, we're supposed to be easily correctable. That's the only way that we can grow. That's the only way that we can learn, and that's the only way we can become better. So it's time for change. It's time that we begin to really step up to the game. It's time that we really start doing what we need to start doing to clear up the ground. Yesterday I emphasized, before I really go into gonna talk about yesterday, I emphasized on something: setting up NGOs. NGOs are non-governmental organizations, and that's just one thing I want to emphasize on today as well, that we're going to be talking about a little bit further, that we have to understand that it's not just the government who's going to do everything. It's not the government that's going to sort everything that needs to get sorted out in the country. The whole point of having NGOs is that these things are set up, these non-governmental organizations are set up to sort of how do I say, reprimand, sort of play the role that the government should play, that they don't play. So that means that we can't wait for the government. We can't begin to wait for government. We need to begin to use our brains and stuff. So the topic is Wake Up Nigeria. Prayer is not the master key. One thing that I noticed, that a lot of people that came and compliment and wrote a lot of comments that did not like the topic, one thing I noticed that they missed is the fact that I did not say prayer is not good. I did not say prayer is not a key. I just told you prayer is not the master key, and that's what you're missing here. Prayer will not be the master key, and it can never be the master key. And that's why I proved it to you yesterday by looking through the Bible, which tells us that prayer is faith without work is dead. So basically, praying without work is dead. It's you're praying a prayer. It's just that it's meaningless in the sight of God, and that's why I use the example of who did I use the example of Adam, when God created Adam and left him in the Garden of Eden. Just imagine Adam and sat down praying to God to come and fix it. God fix it instead of him. God gave you the earth. God said, you go and sow, make it, enrich it, do all this stuff, plant stuff. And Adam is sitting down praying to God. God, do help me. And God is like, but I've already put you. You do it. You fix it. But it's like, oh no, God, but I need you to. God don't need us to be doing that. God is seriously irritated, and God is seriously angered. And I think it's the prayer. I really think it's the outcry of people that's reached to God, which is why you see people like Daddy Freeze. You see people like Pastor Sandy Adelaja, which is why you see people like Chimamanda speaking out for women. You see people like who else is out there, anticipating for the betterment of our country, of our nations. And the thing is, it's just so funny because these are the people that people are criticizing. The people that are trying to help you are the people that you're sitting there insulting, instead of you to sit down and listen to what they're actually saying, so you don't miss the message. I don't know why somebody is calling me on here, because that person knows I'm live show. I don't know why somebody is calling me on here, so I do apologize, guys. I'm so sorry about this. Person is seriously interrupting my show, and this is not good. I'm so sorry that the show has been interrupted today. I need to delete the Messenger app if that's what I'm going to have to do, because that's quite rude, to be honest. Okay, so let me just get started on what I have for us today. If you want to call me, you can call me on Elizabeth, what's it called? Let me just bring up the app. Elizabeth Talks Change. You can download, you can add me on Elizabeth Talks Change and call me on there. But please, please, please do not call me on Elizabeth. I know that is, I'm live right now, and I find it quite rude, to be honest. So please don't do that. Yeah, so let me just get straight to the point. Okay, so yesterday we talked about the fact that we are very, very wasteful individuals. One thing that really stands out for me is the fact that we look at people like what's it called? We look at people like Oprah Winfrey. We look at people like Bill Gates. Look at people like what's it called? Oprah Winfrey, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg. And I was just thinking to myself that the people think that, you know, I've come to realize that we are literally living with a misplaced priority in Africa. We are living with a seriously misplaced priority because we are always train parties. And now, you know, people are seriously, you know what makes me laugh is when I see people train lavishing on big weddings, and they're making a big deal out of a wedding. And I look at people like Oprah and I think, do you know why she's rich? It's not like Oprah just accumulates wealth and just keeps it in the bank. No, everything that she makes, she reinvests. They are being reinvested somewhere, and that is how it can really be a benefit to the community, to the country itself. She doesn't just accumulate those wealth and just put they invest in things, they buy things, they buy into businesses. They invest, they get involved in other things that we don't know of in the background, and that's how they can really sustain their wealth. But in Africa, people get money and they just want to spend it. You know, I was just literally I was thinking about the old BBN Niger stuff, and I just really came to understand that okay, we have really misplaced priority. The things that we should be focusing on in Nigeria are things like what's the things called when you're talent hunting. That's it. Talent hunting are things that seriously we need to be focusing on. We need to focus on, you know, they're good. Do you know how many talents are actually wasting away in Nigeria? How many people's skills, how many children are failed? I mean, I saw someone the other day, a little guy that developed some sort of car from next to nothing, and I'm thinking these are people that should be talented hunted. This is what I mean by NGOs. When you set up NGOs and you know we raise money and you have like charities in place that sort of raise money, you find those people and then you send them to school and then you give them a contract that when they graduated they have to come back. They have to come back to the country. They have to come back and they have to come and work in the country because you have sponsored their education. It's something that you can arrange. It's something that can be easily. But instead we are doing BBN Niger, giving somebody 49 million naira for doing next to nothing. We want to wear the big coat. We want to compare ourselves. These are countries that are already established. They already have the spare money to waste. And we're giving, and I was just looking yesterday, the guy just bought a new car. I'm like, why would he not just be spending lavishing anyhow? He doesn't know the value because he didn't really work for it. It's easy money. To him, it's just like easy money. Miracle. He just bought a brand new car. I'm thinking, why won't he do that? You know, he doesn't know the value of what he has. So that money is just going to go. It's just going to go to next to anything. And that's the thing. We have to understand that the things that we should really, what Nigeria should have done with that 49 million is find some youths. Find some youths that really are really talented. Do some talent hunting. Sponsor their education. Send them abroad. Come bring them back. Assure them of some work when they come back to the country. But no, we're too busy, train BBN Nigeria. We're joining into the fun. We just want to have fun. We're too distracted. Things that don't count, things that don't mean anything. That's where our priority is, and that's not where our priority should be at all. We're not there yet. We shouldn't really be comparing ourselves yet. Let's build from scratch. Let's not be afraid to build from scratch. And that's some of the things that I covered yesterday, that we need to not be afraid to build from scratch. And I mentioned yesterday that we cannot pray. It's impossible. You cannot pray until you've actually worked. If you've not worked, please don't pray, because it's useless. You can't be praying to God that you want to be a doctor, but you don't go to school. You don't have the education, but you're praying to God to surprisingly just make you a doctor. It's not going to happen. God is not going to do that. God is not going to just give you a job that you're not qualified for. And that's the same way we have to understand that it's important that we stop praying for miracle money. It's important that we stop expecting that some sudden miracle will happen in Africa. The sudden miracle we're expecting that will happen in Nigeria, it's people like Pastor Sunday Adelaja, it's people like Daddy Free, it's people like Charlie Boy, people that are speaking to you and telling you the truth that you don't want to hear. It's difficult to hear that something you've known your entire life is wrong, but that doesn't disqualify, and that doesn't mean that it's not right. It doesn't mean it's not valid. And that's why it's important that we really, really pay attention to what we're being told, from what we actually hear, from when we hearing from people like Daddy Freeze. Don't get distracted in your insecurities, that you miss the message that these people are trying to pass, and so it's very, very important that we understand that we must not be wasteful. We must not be we must not be wasteful. We must not be easily distracted. Another thing I'm going to cover today is the idea of pastors, this international pastors affair. I'm just thinking, I sat down for a bit and I just thought to myself that, okay, so pastors, they are bringing other pastors from their abroad to come to Nigeria to come and preach to their congregations. They are, I saw a picture recently of the Koza pastor invited the TDJX to Nigeria, and they got like lots of different limousines to go and pick him up at the airport just so he could come and preach. And what is he gonna preach? Probably like 20 minutes of a message on tithing. Probably like a good deserving message about learning to deal with your poverty, learning how to get through your pain. Those things, and if your pastor really wants to help you, want to know the truth, your pastor will bring people that will come and teach you new skills. It is skills development that the pastors will bring. It will not be pastors that will come to Nigeria. They will invest money on getting international people to come to the country and come and train us, to come and legit train you on some new skills, not on how to become, how to pay your tithes, how to things that are relevant in the sight of God. No, those things that we are holding on to, all those things that they're spending, is your money they're going to use to bring this pastor. Is your money they're going to get the limousine. Is your money they're going to use to drive them, and you're sitting there and the pastor will still come and preach to you. What are they helping? We're not helping ourselves in our country. If the pastors really genuinely want to help you, like I was just saying, I literally work in an organization that literally is a building. I was just thinking to myself that if this land that we work was in Nigeria, do you know what will be on there? It will be a church. It will not be this building that I'm working on. And that's how disappointing it is, because we don't even understand how much of a waste. And do you know how much people spend in churches in Nigeria? There is bare waste of time. Like, I went to a program last week, something that was meant to last probably 1.5 hours. We were there for 4 hours, and I just kept sitting there thinking to myself, like, why is it taking so long? Why? Because Africans don't know the value of time. Like, do you know there's something called African time? I'm just going to talk about that for a bit. I went to a friend's party recently. The party was meant to start at 5, so I turned up at 5. I sat there till 6. At 6, people still did not show up. It was that day that I realized how stupid this African time thing is. Because people don't understand that people actually have reasons for that. They actually have something to do, People actually have something to do with their time, I'm sitting there. So I went home like 6:30. I said, then this person's calling me like, oh, we're just on our way. I'm like, we booked a restaurant. We need to be there at 5. No, and then you get there, and you know what's irritating thing about black people and African people is that you get there and then they'll tell you, oh, we cancelled your reservation because you didn't show up at the time you're supposed to show up, and then they start shouting, they start fighting, they want to argue with somebody. It's so embarrassing that you don't even understand that you're the one who needs to be ashamed of yourself. Black people, you need to be ashamed of yourself. How can you go to a restaurant, you're late 2-3 hours, and you still want to argue with them that they cancelled your reservation? They have a business to run. They're not like Nigerians who go and spend 3-4 hours in church somewhere. They don't waste time. They have booked their appointments. So they booked you 5 to 7:30. There's another customer coming at 7:30. There's somebody else you can't expect them to be waiting for you. They don't lose business because you can't keep your time. You've got to learn to respect people's time. So this whole stupid idea of African time, that needs to get out of the window. It's a disrespect to people. It's a disrespect to people's time. We need to understand the value of time. We need to start telling ourselves. And it's when we start to put all these little things in place that we can really begin to understand that we are practicing a value system. The value systems that we have in place today is not a value system. It's disrespectful to everybody. People that are, each and every one of ourselves. It's disrespectful to us. Okay, I just thought I should chip that one in. Okay, so yeah, I've talked about the fact that if your pastors really want to help you, they will not build churches. They will not increase the sizes of their churches. They will not bring international pastors to come and preach to you. They will bring international trainers. They will bring people that will come and teach you new skills. They will teach people that will come and teach you how to use Excel, how to develop applications, because they will invest the money in you. That's how you really know that somebody loves you, because the person wants you to grow, not telling you to sit somewhere and be praying to God to give you. God will not do it. God will not do it for you. I know we've heard of various testimonies, but let me tell you something. Half of those testimonies are just made up. And it's just partly half of it. So you got a little bit of it, but then you can have got so much more. But you're settling for less. African people have learned to settle for less. They'll be like, I prayed to God for 500 naira and somebody gave me 1,005. What if you had worked hard? What if you had done something with, and so you like, and then they'll be like, I invested the last 200 naira in my hand. What if you took that 200 naira and you bought a bowl of tomato and you went to the market and you sold that old tomato and you made a profit of 1,000. Then you went again and you bought more tomatoes. Then you sold that tomato and you made a profit of like 3,000. Then you kept making more. But you're like, I sold my last 200, somebody gave me 1,500 and you're giving testimony. We don't understand that there are things that we need to begin to do that we're not doing. We're just settling for whatever works. We don't have a system in place. It's just really, really embarrassing. Okay, the next thing on my list is just that, okay, the cars on the road. How many of us in Nigeria have traveled on the roads? I remember growing up as a child, traveling on the road, and I always used to see all these trailers that are overpacked, overloaded trailers. They're overloaded. They are not very, very, balanced on the road. They're moving at a very slow pace, and some of them are still trying to overtake and still trying to. And the thing is, they don't understand that when you press sudden brake, when you suddenly brake on a trailer that is overloaded, this is bound that something will happen. You will turn over. They don't use that. There's no rules governing our roads, and this is something that the government can also begin to put into place. Is to set up. I'm just going to use the example of the UK because I've already said I'm going to be using the UK as an example a lot in the line of what we are going to be talking about. They have something called they have a government body. They have a governing body. So everything. Let's say, for example, churches and schools, hospitals, they have something called a governing body that oversees the every one of their activities. So for example, now mechanics over here, they're all registered under a certain governing body. So that means if you have a mechanic shop, you must be registered. And that is why when people go to do things like every car in this country, for you to be on the road, you must have something called an MOT, and you must have insurance. With your MOT, what that would do is, with your MOT, if you don't have your MOT, you can't be on the road. Your cars, you either get fined or you get clamped. This regulating bodies, what they do is they regulate and to ensure that people keep the laws by having cameras installed, by having by having people that actually go around and check the numbers on plates of cars. They will check various things, and they know that this person's MOT expired like 3 months ago and still hasn't done his MOT. They will give him a fine, which he has to pay before the end of the month or a certain period of time. And then also, if he refuses to pay it, there are things like you get like a point. You get number of points. If you don't want to get number of points, you can make the payment. For example, if you overspeed or if you do something like that, there's all those type of things. And they are put in place to regulate the road, to regulate that, to ensure that people adhere to policies. But Nigerian police, let me tell you what they are doing. Nigerian police are simply practicing jungle justice on the citizens. The thing is, it's not until the police over here come and beat you up because you parked your car in the wrong place. Having rules in place, having all those laws in place, what it does is it allows people to then obey. Because even if you don't want to do your MOT, you know that if I don't do it, I'm gonna get a certain fine. You know you're gonna get a certain amount you have to pay, and you know you don't have those extra expenses. You don't, might as well. Why would you want to get a £80 fine when you can do your MOT for just £40? Then and which can even get escalated, you can get taken to court, you can even get imprisoned, you can lose your license, you can, because there are things in place that regulates these things. There is a governing body. Which governing body are mechanics in Nigeria registered under? Which mechanics in Nigeria is which government body is regulating the activities on the road? Which government body is regulating cameras and regulating the roads? A new road has just been created, so they add it onto the sat nav. They add it onto they create a new route. They add it onto, they update the sat navs. All those little things. Where is all that in Nigeria, beg? Where is all that being implemented into our systems? Nowhere. But you know what? Our country, we just do everything without this thing. Somebody will just come from nowhere and tell you you're supposed to do this, something you don't know, and then they start beating you. And this is a cry out really to our police officers, because, I've come to understand how disrespectful they are to human lives. And, it's really an outcry to them because they are so shameful. I'm so ashamed of a Nigerian police, because the fact that I've watched several times Nigerian police take their hand and slap women or slap even a man, slap anybody just because they said, even if you are a criminal, you still need to be arrested. You still need to be convicted of that crime before they then say, I watched a recent clip of police officers in Nigeria arresting young men, and then they literally shot one of them in the balls. I'm thinking, why would you do that to somebody? An human being like yourself. How heartless, how evil, how insane. And there's nobody that is going to hold them accountable because the police don't have a regulatory body. There's nobody that they're accounting to. So they can just do whatever they want in a lawless nation. What happens in a lawless nation? A lawless nation is the meaningless nation. It's useless nation. It's a nation without direction, a nation without a future. How many people can clearly tell me now, I know where Nigeria is going? Nope. A lot of us probably like, we don't even know what's going to happen. Maybe they will just sell Nigeria. Maybe somebody will just come and buy Nigeria. They will change the name of the country. We don't even know what we're doing. Because it is a lawless nation. A lawless nation is a meaningless nation. It doesn't have its own plans. Nigeria doesn't have anything. No regulatory body that is in charge of the police. Nobody's training the police. These police are not trained. Nobody has sat down to say, okay, these police officers, do you know if you mess up in this place, you get something called a retraining. So for example, like what I was saying about the cars before, for example, let's just say a car was to overspeed at a place and the camera catches you. And what will happen is you have to attend a course. You have three options. You either choose to go to that course, you can either pay the fine or you get some points on your license. So it's not up to you. If you go for the training, you sit through the training. Training will be like 6 hours training. It's boring, but you learn so much. At that time, you learn the gravity of the mistakes that you have just committed and how it could have caused a massive detriment. You will not even realize it, but they want people to be aware. And that's why police are there. They're supposed to just regulate. You're supposed to regulate. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to just make sure that people adhere to the rules. But you don't go about destroying people, killing people, shooting people just because you have some gun on you. You are not God. You don't have any right to shoot somebody who has not been taken to court. You're on the road and you take your gun because you have power. So you are overpowering people. You know what that is? That is an abuse. That is why we have things like abuse. You are using your power to manipulate powerless people. There are ways that you can make people adhere to rules. Arrest them, lock them up, fine them. Do things, put things in place that will begin to make people obey the rules. And this is because the government, you can't tell me for 1 second that anybody else did not see that video of that boy. I'm sure he's in his 20s that got shot in his balls, and he was just lying there in a very strange car with blood all over the place. And I'm thinking, Nigerians really, have you really lost all humanity? Have you really lost everything that is called your brains? Have you really lost it? Are you telling me that not even one single government person saw that video or saw that boy? That cannot even stand up for Nigerians? It could have been anybody's child. It could have even been a boy that maybe it was even taken by mistake as one of the people. He might not even have done anything wrong. He has not even been convicted of anything, but you've already shot him. How do you rectify that mistake you just committed? How do you say sorry to something like that? And nobody ever says they're sorry. Nobody ever apologizes. Nobody ever takes responsibility. Nobody ever owns up and says, look, we are to be held responsible for what's happened. We are a lawless nation. We are a meaningless nation. And it's time that we begin to reevaluate our vision. If we don't have a vision, we have failed. I'm sure Pastor Sunday has a book like that. A visionless nation is a meaningless nation. Dr. Sunday Adelaja. Go and read it. Stop thinking people, when they tell you to go and read their book, are trying to extort you of your money. The guy worked hard for that book. Go and buy the book. Go and read the book. Stop thinking you're better than people. Stop being so selfish. Help yourself. Help your nation. Become wiser. Educate yourself. Get some new wisdom. Let somebody impact in you what they already know. That's what I was saying yesterday when I was saying that I was speaking to my Asian friend that went to that party. And she said that the people that are already top in their companies, they will come and speak to people that are still low in their company, in that Asian meeting that they had. They will sit down together, and then you can talk to someone that's already grown, and you can speak to that person and get some wisdom from that person. How did you make it? How did you get so great? And the person will tell you, oh, I did this course. That's how it is. People share, people that write books, people that are so passionate enough to tell you the truth. It's because they really want you to begin to obey the laws. They want you to begin to change your ways. They want you to acquire new skills that will help you. Your pastors are praying for you. They are bringing TD Jakes, and you're insulting somebody that is writing book. You think it's easy to sit down and be typing book? You're not insulting him, saying that he wants to take. Which stupid money do you have? Your £1.50 to go and buy a book? Which money is that? Something that will help you change your nation. Something that will help you change your future and change your focus and help you become wiser. Do you know what they say about black people? They say black people don't know anything because black people don't read. So for example, they put everything in small prints. They put everything in small prints because they know that black people will not read it. We'll just come there, we'll see the picture, we'll see, they will tell us the big picture, is nice, £15,000. Oh, okay, I'll take it. We don't read the small prints, so they insult us. My friend just bought a house, and when she was buying it, she sat down, paperwork for months. I'm like, this girl, when will you sign this paper? She said, Elizabeth, I need to read through every little document. When will you read it? Even myself, still my African mentality, I was sitting there thinking, shouldn't she have signed it? It's just a document. I've already explained it to her in the bank now. Why can't she just sign it? But this girl sat down, pen and paper, enlightening documents. I'm thinking, wow, this is somebody that has a vision, somebody that knows. This is something that I need to learn from. This is something that I'm like, I need to know. You need to develop skills. How can you come all the way to the UK and still be living like somebody that is just coming from the village? Some African people over here, they'll be talking, you'll be looking at them. I think I was at a program last week, and one of the old men, this man is about his 80s. And he must have been like, he shared a story. It was like, when he first came to this country, one of the, this thing that he ever saw was he read an article about a 9-year-old boy who raped a woman. He was like, he said, every country has their own problem. So Nigeria, we have our own. We have to just keep praying. And then UK, they have their own too. For example, I saw a 9-year-old boy who impregnated a something-year-old woman. They have their problem. I'm thinking, are you really comparing problems now? So you're saying it is okay because UK has problems, it's okay for Nigeria to have problems? That is something that the 80-year-old man can use to advise people? I'm thinking, how can you live your entire life and you're telling people that it's okay for them to just accept their problem? No, we have problems, so we'll find a way to fix it. We have to find a solution. We don't sit down there saying, God will help us. So Nigerians, the most adulterated word I think we have ever used is that word, it is well. Any little thing, it is well. We need to stop using that word. We have over abused. If there's a word that has been abused by Africans, it is that word, it is well. Africans have over abused that word. And it's time that we wake up and understand that it is not well. It is not well. The problem has not been solved. It is not well. It is not well, and God will not do it. So what is God will do it? God will not do it. You will do it. You yourself, when God wanted what's his name, what's this one who that built the ark, Noah, when God wanted him to build the ark, if he hadn't built the ark and he's sitting there going, God, build the ark, would we be here today? For Bible scholars, okay, so we have to understand that no, it is not God that will do anything. God will not do it. No, he's not going to do it. You need to get down there. You need to study your book. You need to learn new trade. Don't say I'm 50 now. So what if you are 50? I know people that are still 50 and are still in uni. I know people that are still... Is it not a study that we're hearing that it's a 90-something-year-old man got his PhD? What is he going to do? I think like 2 months later, the guy died. He still thought I will still get it. It's something I've always wanted to get. It's never too late. Little trades. And it's not always about school. It's about not school. There are still things you can do even if you don't go to school. That's what I was saying about pastors bringing in TDJs to come and preach. To come and preach and what? How about him bringing Microsoft, sponsoring people from Microsoft in America to come to Nigeria to come and teach you people some new trades? He's spending all of that money, all of that limousine, all of that plane ticket to sponsor one man to come and preach 1 hour message to you. Is it not a shame? And you people are not thinking that, why didn't he spend all that money and bring a scientist or a IT technician to come and train all of our youths? Even if it's only for like 3 days, they will just do a training. At least they would have acquired some skills. But rather, we would rather be praying and shaking and doing hallelujah challenge. Because of what? Who are you deceiving? Who are you deceiving? It's not going to change your situation. You can do hallelujah challenge from 1st of January to the end of the year. It still will not change the situation. If you don't wake up and begin to do things yourself, it's a shame. It's a massive shame. Someone says TD Jakes is that many American Christians don't appreciate. TD Jakes is amazing. TD Jakes is an amazing person. Read his story. He's an amazing person. But still, TD Jakes will not solve our problems. Simple. It's not that we don't appreciate his story. It's not that we don't know that TD Jakes is amazing. But TD Jakes made it somewhere. And how did he do it? By work. By hard work. But you're teaching our people how to pray? Are we stupid? We know how to pray. We have been praying since we're little. It's time to learn some skills. It's time to get some knowledge. It's time to get some wisdom. It's time to acquire some skills. Okay, so sorry guys. Okay, so in relations to that, we have misplaced our priority totally. And we have completely misplaced priority. All we are spending money now on is how to get some next party, how to get to the next party. Just make sure we, things that are irrelevant in the sight of God. Okay, so let me just see what else I have on my list. Everybody, thank you for being here. Okay, so I said that our prayers and our suffering, it has led God to raise people. We need to pay attention to our own. We don't even value our own people. It's the most crazy thing. Is it not somebody that was sharing with me that one governor in Nigeria went to go and build statue of somebody that is from which country? South Africa, some place. I'm thinking we don't even have monuments. We don't even have graveyards that are dedicated to people that have lost their lives unfairly in Nigeria. But we have statue of some old person, of some next person that is none of our business. We are building statues. We are building for who? We have lost our... Is that not an example of misplaced priority? Let me tell you why they are doing all these things. Because they don't know the value of money. Let me tell you something. When somebody doesn't work hard... Remember what I was saying about Miracle, that one big brother? The guy did not work hard. The guy wants to go and be lavishing. The guy just bought a brand new car. He's spending because he did not work hard. When you work hard, when you want to spend that money, you think that, I worked for this money. Oh. You will respect that money. But people that don't, it's only people that don't really work to get the money they have that will be willing to throw it away. And that's what you see Nigerian governors doing today. That's why somebody can steal out of 15,000 budget and 50 million naira budget, somebody will steal 30 million. And somebody else will come and steal the other two. And snake will be carrying 17 million. And monkey will be carrying 30 million. It's only because people don't know the value of money. When you don't know value of money, that's when you be hearing stories like this. But that's why Charlie Boy told us, our mumu don't do. When we wake up and realize that church will not solve your problem, praying to God will not solve your problem, start building from scratch. Let's start building from scratch. One thing I emphasized on yesterday is that this church, remember I was saying that today I literally sat in my office, I literally sat in my seat and I just imagined that if this office was in Nigeria, I swear I would be inside the church. I'll be inside the church, not inside the office. We have to understand that. I'm going to just say one thing now to Africans, to black people. Idolatry. You want to know the truth? Building churches is a form of idol. I'm going to just say it and leave it there for us to go and really, really think about. When we are building churches, what did the Bible say? It says that do not make any graven. God, don't be making anything. I am here. I am not inside the church. God is inside your heart. When you are building churches, building buildings, that's idol. You want to know? It's the truth. You want to build anything for God? Build offices. Build workplaces. Build a production place. Do you know out a company, just one company in the UK, all they have is a potato farm. Out of that potato farm, they have a little production farm next to it. And what they do is they get potato. They have machines that wash potato. They create out of that potato, they provide chips, French fries. They will make crisps. They will supply companies potatoes to be selling in their shops because people like raw potato. They will make different things out of. They only have one thing they are growing on their farm. One thing. And that's just potato. And do you know how loaded they will be? Because they know how to use. They know how to use what they have. We have land, but we are building churches. We are building churches instead of getting farms. Get your farm, plant corn. After that corn, mash it up. People like corns that are already canned corns. They already are like canned. I go to Nigeria. I want to make fried rice. I go to the shops and I'm seeing international products. We have lands. I'm seeing Heinz beans. I'm like, why is Heinz beans? Where is Niger beans? When will we realize that all these things we are buying internationally, we can make them. We can plant our own strawberries. We can make wine. We can make fruit. We can even import things out of the country. But rather, we will acquire a land. Just imagine, I will just go and pay for a massive land. Someone asked me, what do you want to do with that land? And I say, I want to build a church. I want to buy a building. Let's invest money in a building. What do you want to do with the building? You want to build a church. That's idolatry. As idol worshiping. We have turned the church is an idol. It's an idol in the sight of God. It does not impress God. You are not serving God. It is a shame in the sight of God. God doesn't care about all those things. Sure, you are telling me that if we are producing, I was just saying yesterday that just imagine all the people that go to redemption camp. Just imagine millions and millions. Just imagine they are going there to go and work. Ha! Isn't that just exciting you? Just imagine they are going there to go and plant corn. Just say, as big residential camp is, we have planted cotton on one side, we have planted corn in one side, we have planted strawberries, we have planted oranges, and we're making orange juice in one of the production offices, we're making mango juice in one of the production offices, we're making apple juices, we're making strawberry juice, we even have like nice fruit, agbalumo. Let's do something nice with it. Show the world that we have something that they don't have. Make a new brand. Do something with it. Package in a way that you make the agbalumos, you make them fresh. That when it is not agbalumo season, people can still buy agbalumo in the markets. You store them up. You do factories. But rather, we are thinking, how can we build the nest? How can my church be bigger than Koza? How can I have branches all over the world? Is it not a shame? How can one church tell me they have over 500 branches? How can you have more than 500 branches? And you're not thinking that those branches can actually be work offices. 500 work offices. Okay, done. Thank you guys. Let's see what else I have on my list. Yes, I said, our suffering, our cries, it has reached God's ears. But it's so funny how we are praying for change. Change has come, but we are the ones that are arguing against change. When you are protecting your pastors, you're protecting your church, what you are doing is you are fighting against the change God wants to bring. It's the solution. You are fighting God. God is like, but I want to bring change. But you're like, but God, I want to serve you. But God is like, I want to teach you how to serve me right. But you're like, but God, but God is like, I want to teach you. But you're not listening to God. You're telling God, which is what most people have done. People have turned God to someone they just go to and cry to. Someone they just go for blessings. God is not a friend they talk to for ideas. God is not someone they can speak to. Okay, let's see what else I have on my list. So we've talked about the fact that we are wasteful and the fact that Oprah Winfrey and all these people that are rich, they use their money, they invest it back into their country to make their country even greater. That's why if you see someone in Nigeria that is a celebrity that has earned money and is now using money to buy cars in Dubai, buy a house in Ghana, and you're like, are you using your oblongata? You should be building companies in your country. Invest. You don't just acquire the money in your country and then reinvest it into your people. Reinvest it into your country. Make your nation great. Make other people talk about you. Do you think that Aliko Dangote got there by building churches? Do you think Aliko Dangote got do you know when you go to Nigeria, you see so many Aliko Dangote trucks, so many of them on the road, and you're like, but this guy is still the richest because he has learned how to reinvest. You don't just acquire and keep in a bank. You reinvest. That's why you see someone like Aliko Dangote or people that have earned their money, worked their way. They value their money. They don't just lavish anyhow. They don't just go and buy Timberland boots. They're thinking the next thing is, how do I make the next business move? Oprah Winfrey, was it fitness for less that Oprah Winfrey bought in what year? She bought it, I think she bought it for like 14 million or something. That company, that gym is now worth $465 million. Just from her thinking, I want to take 40 million out of what I have and invest it into this. I'm going to buy that company. And now it's worth, that has added to our wealth. That is part of the wealth we hear of. It is not the wealth she has in the bank. Okay. So, yeah, we spend too much time in church. All this time you are doing morning crusade, afternoon crusade, evening, we're doing Christmas retreat, morning, afternoon, evening. Waste of time. I'm sorry to tell you, it's painful, right? It's really, really eating you in the bones. It's the truth. The truth hurts. It is the truth. Eat it raw, like chocolate. Okay. Thank you very much, guys. I think I pretty much covered all that I want to cover today. I really want people to call in today. If you've got something that you want to share, please add me. Please add me on Elizabeth Talks Change add me and I will accept your friendship. And then you can go ahead and ring the messenger. If you read the messenger, I would accept your friendships and ring through the messenger, and then we'll pick up your call, and then everybody will listen to what you have to say. There's so much that we want you to say, we want you to share what your thoughts are about everything that we've discussed today. If you're feeling like, oh, okay, you know what, I've really got something I really want to share, something that can help my country, please go ahead and share. Yeah. So I've told you people today that your pastors really don't want to help you. You're starting to understand now. Your pastors, they are foiling their own ministry. They want to be competing with other pastors. They want to acquire wealth too, Joe. Yeah, they're just humans like you. Your pastor is not helping you. They want to help you. They will teach somebody to come and bring you wisdom, not somebody to come and so you can't bring somebody externally to come and be teaching somebody how to even the church you are building, we are inside itself. We barely know anything. Everything is done in the background. No, please don't let somebody put you somewhere. You know, there's one thing I learned from DSA. One of the HMT's shows, and he was doing a retreat, and one of the girls, she said something. Someone now talked over her, so she kept quiet. DSA said, never let somebody put you where they want to put you. Don't fall for it. People want to put you. Don't let your pastors come and they're not your God. You as a person can bring change to your country, and it's high time we have to understand that the people's lives are wasting away. You know, when someone said that when the value of a thing is unknown, the abuse is inevitable. It's the truth. It's the truth, because if you don't know the value of what you have, if you don't know the value of yourself, then if you don't know, like what I was saying about the fact that let me just give an example now. The fact that there was a boy that would design like a smoker out of next to nothing. That little boy, if he doesn't get any help, anybody to sponsor him, that's it. He has wasted. But in this country, what they will do is they will find that boy, they will give him something, they will send him to school, they will sponsor his education, and then when he finishes, he's also going to get a job. They would have promised him anyway a job, because they are reinvesting. They know that if we sponsor him, it's only good for our country, it's only good for our nation. But the only thing that we are excited about is how to organize the next BBN Niger. How to go and be pressing Nigerian. If you go to Facebook, if you go to Instagram, you will just go on one random post and you will now see 37,000 likes or 125,000 views, and you will now be looking at 125,000 views on something that is like maybe just a girl that is exposing herself, something really, really stupid, and you're like, some people sat down on Instagram and they're pressing like to 123,000, and none of us is sitting in the field thinking, how can we develop something? I think it's time that we really, really reevaluate ourselves, because literally I'm very confused about Nigeria. I'm very confused. Yeah. So I've literally just told us everything that with these children, we need to, the country is wasting away the talent of its people. The country is really, really wasting away talent. Talents are wasting away. People are good at so many things, but they're not being recognized, and it's really a shame. It really, really is a massive shame that the country would be allowing people to waste away. Yeah. So thank you very much, everybody. I don't know if anybody wants to call. There are a few requests. I've confirmed your request. I'm so sorry, guys. It took me a while. Confirmed your request. If you do want to call in, please go ahead and call in. I will pick up the call. Let me just see what else I have on my list. Let me talk about the last thing I have on my list before people call. Okay, so life insurance. Life insurance. African people are irritating. I'm sorry. Black people, I'm going to talk to you right now. You talked about people and you're like, do you have life insurance? And the first thing here is, God is my insurance. Who's asking you if God is your insurance? God is We get it. God is your insurance. It's nice to know that God is your insurance. It's nice. But the thing is, you have to understand that there's something called life insurance. You will hear that somebody's parents died in this country, and then the person did not prepare. Do you know why they have life insurance? Because what life insurance does is, how much is life insurance? Like in this country now, even black people will still come and tell you they don't have life insurance. In this country, you are forced to insure your car. You don't have a choice. If you don't have insurance, you cannot drive on the road. They're not asking you to insure your car, they're asking you to insure your life. And people will pay like less to nothing, like £5. And then when you die, even if it's just 25,000, they'll give to your parents. Because burial is very, very expensive. But in Africa, when you die, they will not be running up and down. How can they find money to bury you? How can you not leave a legacy? Is it Proverbs chapter 15, verses 15? I can't remember. I will find it and read it to us tomorrow. That said, blessed is the man that leaves inheritance for his grandchildren. Not even for your children. No. So the Bible blesses you, not when you have acquired wealth for your own children, but for your children's children. Have enough. Leave something for them. Don't let, when you die, people are running up and down. If you don't have a life insurance and you're a black person, shame on you. Shame on you, because you should have life insurance. You should have something in place that will get you. So when you're dead, they're not run up and down getting loan to go and buy coffee. That's what life insurance does. They give those funds to your family. They will use it to buy coffins. It's expensive, and you still see African people that will be like, "Oh, we're carrying the dead to Nigeria. We're carrying," and you're like, "Land is land." But you know what? It's everyone's individual this thing. But still, yeah. So let's stop saying God is our insurance, because God is our insurance. But that's not what life insurance is. That's ignorant talking. That's ignorance. Ignorance is so beautiful. Ignorance is when Mr. Dewale is calling. Let's put Mr. Dewale on the cool. Hello, Mr. Dewale.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you, sir. How are you?
I'm fine. I just want to, encourage you for what you are doing.
Oh, thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, and one thing I want to advise people that are watching is that we cannot be silent. We have been silent enough. And one thing I have always believed is that if I'm doing something and I'm expecting something different, and I'm still doing it the same way, and I'm not getting what I really want, then I need to stop and ask myself, am I doing it wrong? Is something missing? And I think that is the state in which Nigeria is now. What we think we know that we're doing is wrong. Because if it is right, we've been praying for how many years? I personally, I lived in Nigeria for 20 years. And for that 20 years, we were praying for good roads. We were praying for
night vigil.
Night vigil. We did a lot of things, but things are not working. But one thing I want people to understand, that the day I stepped my foot in Europe, my prayer life changed. Because a lot of things that I used to pray for when I was back home, I noticed that I don't need to pray for them again, because the government have provided them. And so the problem in Nigeria is not prayer. God is not going to come down and fix the problem of Nigeria, because God did not go to Japan and fix the problem in Japan. It is the Japanese people that did it themselves.
Exactly.
We need to recheck our value system.
Wow.
We need to check our value system. I was watching the World Cup. The Japanese fans were clearing up their mess in the stadium.
Oof. Yes.
They were not in Japan. It is what they do in Japan.
The value system.
The value system. The value that, look, I have made a mess here. Let me clean it up. And that is where each Nigerian, we need to go to. We need to check ourselves. We need to stop pointing finger at the next person. What am I going to do to change the situation in Nigeria?
Yes.
Nigeria have the resources scattered everywhere in the world. In the diaspora, in Nigeria itself, we have a number of people that are there that can fix the problem of Nigeria.
Wow.
But we have all kept silence. We are praying, like you said, it is well. When it's not well, and we're saying it is well.
It is well.
It is well. It is not well.
Yes, it's like our anthem. It's the anthem of religious people. It is well.
It is not well.
It is not well.
The president said yesterday that he has handed God over to
and they'll be like, oh, are you cursing us? No, it is not well. They're stating the facts, stating the obvious.
Exactly. It is not well. So let's tell ourselves the truth. Yes. Us admitting that it is not well, we are telling ourselves the truth.
Yes.
It is the truth we tell to ourselves that, look, our country has a problem.
Yes.
We need to admit that.
Amen.
When we admit that, then how do we now solve this problem? But when we are deceiving ourselves and saying it is well, come on.
How is it well?
Exactly. So those are the things that we need to look at. Each one of us has to ask ourselves questions. Yes, some of us may be saying that we are in Europe, or it doesn't concern me. But we have family there.
Yes.
And our responsibility is to love one another.
Yeah.
People are back home. They are suffering because of what other people are doing. Imagine what happened on the Ibadan Expressway.
Yes.
Because somebody wanted to make money.
Wow.
He was not considering the
lives of
other
people.
Exactly. We need to start giving value to life. There was a day I was taking my kids to school, and there was a traffic, and I was wondering what is causing this traffic. When we got to where the traffic was, it was a swine that was trying to cross the road, and everybody was being gentle so that we won't,
they won't crush it.
We won't crush it. We won't make him afraid. So I was now looking at it. Look at the value that we have placed on the life of this swine. Look at the value. But in Nigeria, no. When your pastor is shouting from the top of his voice, miracle money, and somebody now forget one money in your office the next day. Instead of you
to give it back.
And return exactly. My pastor has said miracle money.
Exactly.
Miracle money.
Exactly.
Each Nigerian is to blame for the problem we are in. And we all need to start taking responsibility. We all need to start shouting out so that people in authority will know. The vice president needs to resign. He has handed over his work to God. Let him step aside.
Yes.
These are things that we need to start talking about.
Yes.
I just want to thank you for what you are doing.
Thank you so much,
you know I am behind you. And what you are saying is the truth. That is the truth of the gospel. And we all need to keep on shouting it. I just want to give you a shout out. You're doing well.
Yes.
I'm with you 100%. And God is not going to come and fix Nigeria. It is a myth. We have to do it ourselves.
That is a myth. Yes. God will save Nigeria is a myth. It's a lie. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you and God bless.
I very much appreciate what you're doing, Mr. Adewale, as well. Thank you for the call. God bless you. Bye. Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Adewale. Everyone, I'm very grateful for Mr. Adewale's call. Mr. Adewale has said the truth. You know that idea of miracle money? African people are not honest. Like somebody was sharing with me that his friend saw random money in his account. He doesn't recognize how that money got there. You know, in the world of fraud, that's something that is called, you know, I don't want to use the terms, but, you know, it's something that is, you know, you should report it. If you see something that you don't recognize in your account, you should report it. But because Africans, we are sort of fine-tuned to believe in the idea of miracle money, that when that guy saw it, he took the money straight away and went to go and spend it. He didn't even think that money might belong to somebody else. The money might be somebody's own, and they might have actually accidentally paid into the wrong account, which is very selfish. Let's just pick the call. Somebody, Miss Prince Adeyinka is calling. Let's see what Mr. Prince Adeyinka is saying. Hello, Mr. Adeyinka.
Hello.
Hello. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the call.
Thank you so much. Most of the time I don't actually watch your program online because most of the time it's either I'm at work or I'm sleeping. But today I woke up, you know, during the middle of your video. So I was like, no, I think I'm very, very lucky today. So I need to say something.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thanks for being here.
Yeah, you have really talked about a lot of important things. But, you know, today, without wasting time, I will commend you for good job. It's very rare to see a lady that will be doing what you are doing right now. So that's why I'm giving it to you. Yeah. God bless you, my sister.
Thank you.
You know, about the topic of today, my sister, I have spent a lot of time, a lot of days, a lot of months, years thinking about what is the solution to Nigeria. Honestly, because I have listened to a lot of people, but I noticed that even what a lot of people are saying is not even still the solution to Nigeria.
Yes.
Okay, I will start from here.
Yes.
Do you know that it's only those people in diaspora that are actually seeing Nigeria for real?
Wow.
So you can now see so that when you want to provide solution, so you have to know what you want to go and solve.
Exactly.
How are they seeing themselves? That is one.
Wow.
But the people outside are seeing them clearly more than the way they see themselves.
They see themselves.
That is one. Okay. Another thing I would digress to is that if you provide the solution that most of the churches should be closed, as in some branches, not all the denomination, but so let some branches be closed. Let them face a major this thing and be operating it. Because you know the reason why you want to say this is so that they will release money into the society. If you say that, they will say you are antichrist. Yes,
that's what they say.
If you provide any solution that has to affect church in Nigeria, those people at home, not the people abroad, the people at home will say you are antichrist. In fact, their leader, it is of the problem of the country, and now what they think is they have to affect the church.
Yes.
You can see where the problem of Nigeria, where I said most of the solution they gave is not really the right thing. Because if actually you want to solve the problem of Nigeria, church has to be affected. That is one.
Yes.
Two is one of those things that you and Dr. Anu have talked about before.
Yeah.
The value system.
Systems. Wow.
You just gave example of the last caller gave example of his wine. In Nigeria, let a swine walk anyhow. It's going to land in the pot of somebody.
There's no such thing as animal rights in Africa. There's no such thing as you see dogs that are starving on the road. Like, no, there's no such thing as animal rights.
Sister, you are talking about animal rights.
Even woman rights. Yes, no human rights. If the police can just shoot somebody in the balls just anyhow, where's human rights?
So, let me digress again to the government.
Yes.
The government, okay, let's just take a look at the Senate.
Yeah.
The money they are getting on a seat is enough to fix a town. And if I say to fix a town, I'm not talking of just only the road, just the education. I'm talking of let them sit down together and say, okay, what are we doing about our education? What standard it is? They come out with the structure and give it to people.
Look at, for example, the Nigerian police, what's it called, that was saying transformation. Just imagine he was standing there, instead of transformation, he's saying, we are going to be training 50 of our men. They're going to be going into deep training. They're going abroad. Just imagine he had something tangible to say. Something. He's sitting there going transformation. Because in the first place, he doesn't even know. He doesn't know what's going on. He's a confused bloke in the wrong position.
That is the reflection of the
country
of Nigeria right now.
Wow.
If they can put somebody who is not competent enough to read, definitely the country has failed. Now, let me now go to collective solution to Nigeria. I'm not really going into the detail. You see, the solution to Nigeria has to come from our individual collective efforts.
Wow. Yes.
Going together. You understand? So, because if anybody comes out now and say, hey, let us do this thing, some people, where it will come from, the people that will first stand against the person is from church.
The church.
Why? Because the thing the person is going to see, there's no way it's not going to affect all these people that want to be building churches next to your house, next to your house. And what they will be doing is not what they are supposed to do. You don't go to church morning, evening, afternoon, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and expect the value of the system to change. It will not. It will not. That is why it's a shame, a very big shame, when I see any religious people coming into my platform or into my Facebook lifetime to comment. I immediately give them a word that they won't even forget in their life. Because if they have ears, they hear. If they have eye to see, they would notice that some countries like Japan, like Malaysia, like Singapore, were not somewhere to be found in 1978, 1950 something. But now they have actually left Nigeria far behind.
Wow.
So if those people did not build thousands, no, I'm not even talking, why am I talking about thousands? They did not build 500 of churches for them to develop. What is wrong with Nigerians? We need, all of us in diaspora and at home, we need to sit down and say the right thing. Some people say they want to attack church, they are attacking church. Everything they know to say is attacking church. Even the very knowledgeable of these pastors, I don't want to even say, because the more I talk about them, the more I do. So you can see that our problem is about every one of us. We need to know where are we going really. Because if we don't know where we are going really, we can't provide. See, you know what will be going on in our government? Circulation of powers. So this one will say, oh, is it your turn? Come. Don't worry, we will lie to people. That's what has been happening since 1991, 93, 94.
Wow.
It is your turn, come. It is your turn, come. It is your turn, come. They rotate the power. Someone who has ruled in 1978 came back 1999. Someone who has ruled some 1960 came back.
Misplaced priorities. We don't know what we're doing.
It is only in Nigeria
It's only in
that I
Nigeria.
have seen that even professors
Indeed.
and doctors
In Africa.
are not using their senses.
Yes.
It is only in Nigeria that doctors and professors
You
in
just
school,
hit the
human
nail
beings are
on the
useless.
head. Exactly. You just you are finished the topic with that, because you will see that people that are highly educated are also falling in. They're also foiling all these churches as well. They are the ones that like they are not even
Both in church and in government.
separating thinking.
They failed woefully. How could somebody go to school and say you obtain professor this thing
Degree.
and then you had no value when they are saying they want to elect people? You are the one that will go to Facebook and say support Buhari, support Buhari, support Buhari. Now Buhari is failing. They are nowhere to be found.
But he was bound to fail anyway. He was bound to fail from the start. I mean, look at it. Before you even put someone in place, you already know what the end is going to be like. It's the truth. But Buhari was bound to fail. He doesn't have what it takes in this day and age. He doesn't have what it takes. They're younger people that are far better, with greater mindsets, people that are very, very, they have a value system, they have a heart, they know what they need to do, people that have skills, people that are well organized. Buhari probably doesn't even know how to use a phone. How come my president don't know how to use a phone? My president doesn't even know how old he is.
Let me give you a
He doesn't know his age.
Why I'm so annoyed about how people put Buhari there. Now, if you look at US, people usually compare Nigeria to US on certain things. Now, but on this one, they will not compare Nigeria to US. Have you ever seen a US president that has ever, that is up to like 70 years of age on power? Let me tell you something. Once they notice that they are getting old or they are, they leave themselves.
These people are harsh. They will tell, not even in the place of presidency alone. Everywhere. Was it Tom Jones that was fired from The Voice recently or something like that? It's everywhere. It's everywhere because they know that when somebody gets to a certain age, they want people that are more younger, people that are fresher, people that are, about to start their lives.
The reverse is the case.
Yes. Nigeria,
want to be there.
Yeah.
And those people they are preying on, they lack sense to be able to say no. So that's why it is all our collective effort. The problem of Nigeria is all our fault.
Yes.
And the solution is going to come from all of us.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
If we stand to our feet and say no, we don't want old cargoes anymore in our government. And the Senate, it's a part of the solution that is going to come to Nigeria is all these senators, all those people in government, the money they are earning a month, if they don't reduce it, if they don't cut it off, Nigeria will still find himself. In fact, we are now the poorest in the world, right? Now, it is not the poorest. It will still be the poor. In fact, maybe people will come up with another name to categorize it separate.
You're finished also, Msanka. We will become poor.
Because let me tell you something. How could you go and calculate the money they receive on a seat? That money alone in a month, go and just take that money to maybe a place in Kano State or in Ogun State. You will see that you will build a very good place. And that is what is zinking our nation. The people, the money all these Geo are using to buy jets, forget about it. Even take the government will even, if I have opportunity to be the Nigerian president today, the first thing I'll do is to seize all their jets. And what I will tell them is, do something in your society. Let me see it. I will sell the jets and give back the money to them to do something.
Wow.
That's what I will do. It's not because I'm against them. I'm a Christian. I'm a born again Christian to the core.
Wow. That's what it's supposed to be like. That's how you really know someone that is Christ-like. See, many people are religious. People that think they are Christian. I've already established today that the church is an idol. It's most of these churches we see, they're just an idol that we have created because we think that's where God is. But we have forgotten that God is in our hearts. So churches, idols, close them down. You want to really believe the mindset of Christ? You want to see the life of Christ? Look at people that are telling you things like, don't build idols. Don't build houses. Don't build blocks. Don't build buildings. Build nations. Build people. Build the future. Think about the future. How can Nigeria be getting a loan for their budget for $123 million dollars, and that budget that they don't even, you can't see anything simple, anything tangible. They are building the presidential kitchen, 41 billion naira.
Imagine that they are wasting. You know, you talked about wasteful. You know, in every way we are wasteful. Every way, the way, in fact, the way the value they give to us is how to learn how to be wasteful. You know, when you waste time and you waste resources and you waste materials.
Yes, we're wasteful and we're selfish, because this money is that they're even using for budget. It doesn't belong to the country. They are loans. The government took the 123 million loan for Niger budget. So they're going to run us down. These old men, 90, they don't even know their age. They will die and will be left in debt.
What I asked myself when I heard about the loan
they are taking.
They are taking. I said, this loan they are taking is going into their pocket, because I am not going to see. Let me ask you a question. Since we get the democracy, all the loans they have been getting, where is it in our society?
Is it the church? Tithe.
Is it that is in the church as a tithe?
That's not free.
The pocket of the politicians. So Nigerians, please, if anybody is listening to us, we need to be asking ourselves questions. Where all the loans they have been taking from and borrowing from another country into Nigeria, where is it ending? Where is it? Where is it in our society? Is it that they divide the 10% to the church, and then the remaining go to the pocket of the politicians? But we don't need it. What we need is we want the churches. Let me tell you something. We want the churches to be teaching people about value. We want them to be training them on some things.
Yes.
We want them to be teaching them value system. Yes. It is not about coming to pay tithes. No, forget about that one. If you give people good value, you will get more. You don't need people. You don't need to tell them. You will progress. You will develop. But they don't want to do. They are greedy. They are greedy. So that is why we are not developing. That's why we are not developing, because the money is going into two arms. Immediately, any money going into Nigeria now is either it goes to church or it goes to politicians. That's why we keep the people. So those poor keep getting poorer, and the richer keep getting richer.
I'm so grateful for your call, Mr. Adenka. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much.
You're so blessed. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching this along. I'm so sorry I'm unable to take any further calls today, but I'll be back tomorrow and we'll take some more calls, and we'll speak so much about, if you have questions, if you have, you want to make the call, I'll be here, to take more calls tomorrow. So let's just end it here so it's not too long, just in case people want to watch back. It's been so wonderful, and we can see that, the first thing to see in any change, the first driver of any change in this world is word of mouth. People would talk about it, and more people are starting to really talk about the fact that we have a problem. We are acknowledging it now. There's a problem, and there are solutions that we have, that should be implemented and not been implemented. So it is possible to have these problems, to have this implemented. So I'm so sorry I'm not picking calls, guys. But I will get to do that tomorrow. Focus more on that. I did more talking today, so apologies. So yes, I think we have pretty much taken everything that we need to do. I think one thing that Mr. Adenka talked about was the fact that he said something. He said that in the UK here, for example, they in international bodies, we can see what's happening internationally. We can see all the change. People the ones that are international are the ones that are noticing the problem. The thing is, you have to be out of the problem to see the problem sometimes. People that are in the problem may not necessarily. That's why even with religion, people that were like, oh, that the phrase is not this, or someone that is not. Sometimes God uses someone that is not actually involved inside the whole thing to actually see the problem. And that's just the truth of the matter, because if you're in it, you're really rooted in it. You may not see it, except you allow yourself really to see it, and you're really questioning things. Maybe you're a thinker and you really get to see that something is wrong here. So yes, we need to question things, and we need to understand that everything that we see in this country, everything, even the politicians, are regulated by a body. They have a body that means that their salary is regulated they can only get a certain amount. They can't get more than that. So all these Nigeria politicians are just stealing money because they're not regulated. Because nobody tells them yes or no. Nobody talks to them. Nobody tells them what to do. Anyway, thank you guys for being here today. You guys are such blessings. Please go ahead and share. Please go ahead and like. Please go ahead and inform people. Let people watch it. Let people know that, you know, it's time for change. And there are things that we can begin to do even without the government. All these NGOs, you know, rally round. Let us make like a community. How many people know, like, how many people do like things like the Yoruba people call it ajo or something like that. Get people to start doing like ajos to raise money to set up NGOs and stuff, you know, and, you know, to help people. Ajo is called thrift. That's the English word for it. Thrift. Raise some money up, get people to donate so that they can use the money to help, you know, to set up NGOs. You guys are such blessings. Thank you, bro, Pastor Anu as well. Anu for all this, you know, speaking about the value systems of Nigeria. So those of you that, you know, want to learn about value systems, Anu is always talking about value systems. So go on his page, Anu Ujo. Yeah, you watch them. Bye, guys, and take care of yourself and have a lovely, lovely evening. Bless.